Hi guys, uh, I'm going to clean my room and I'm going to talk about things that I pretty much discovered with my enabler dad. So give me a second. Okay, now what I pretty much discovered about my enabler dad, I noticed for these couple, I think for these couple of weeks, ever since that fight happened or whatnot, he just completely like ignored me. Well, he completely ignores me now, in a sense. Like, I feel the distance and I feel like the coldness, for some reason. And, oops, sorry, my sweaty pics. But, yeah, he just completely, like, ignores me. And it's not that I care, but it's like I'm really starting to notice, like, the pattern in which things goes, okay? I get into a fight, into an argument with my narcissistic mother, and she ignores me. Well, she's been ignoring me, and then my dad follows after. With ignoring me. I'm not sure. I used to think that. I used to think that. I used to think that was a way of like giving me space or something like that. But it also makes me feel like I've done something wrong at the same time. And it's like I shouldn't feel bad. Like when you have narcissistic parents and stuff like that, it kind of makes you feel bad for reacting to being treated, to being treated badly, or like for feeling like you have been wronged or something like that. And it like basically it makes me feel like, well, if I was on my best behavior, they wouldn't they wouldn't leave me, or they wouldn't, they wouldn't ignore me and things like that. And that's how they get you. And it's like, no, I'm not gonna chase people. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't, and it's to make you seem like you're like, like you're a problem. And it's like I have to convince myself every day that, it's not me. It's because that when they see you, they see the truth, and they see a part of themselves in you, but of what their higher selves can be. And it intimidates them in a way, so they avoid you. So they avoid you. And throughout my life, throughout my life of, of being around them, well, it's like, well, as a child, well, of course, I'm not gonna have a choice. I was a child, but being around them, it has made me feel like a mistress in my own home. It has made me feel like a mistress in my own home, and I've been low-key, treated as such, in a weird way. Like, my dad, like, sometimes like, we used to spend time together, and I would think that, he finally understands me, and we finally understand what we've been through. And then when stuff like this happens, he clowns me, pretty much denies everything, and continues to enable that behavior, right? And I say this makes me feel like a mistress. It has made me feel like a mistress in my own home. because I've been treated as something that is, you're saying, that is forbidden, in the way that they avoided me, especially in how the flying monkeys or like the enablers would avoid me. You know what I'm saying? Because they act like, you know what I'm saying, that they act in a way as if, like, you know what I'm saying, that they're scared to have a connection with me because they are scared of what the narcissists think. Okay? And they're so brainwashed. They're so brainwashed that they're not thinking of, you know what I'm saying, they're not thinking in this way, like, you know what I'm saying, have a connection with her because she's my sister, she's my daughter, she's, you know what I'm saying, she's my cousin or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's always felt like that. I felt so forbidden, but yet, you know what I'm saying, yet they sought me out. They sought me out, you know what I'm saying, as they would come to me, you know what I'm saying, and want to talk to me. And it's like, it creates like this split in my mind. And it's like, really, to be honest, like, I'm no longer confused anymore about that. And I refuse to be treated like a mistress in my own home, in my space, you know what I'm saying, in my own space. And I refuse to feel bad for existing the way that I've been made to feel for so long. I'm no longer feeling bad about taking up space, even though, you know what I'm saying, subconsciously I do struggle with that in my workplace and in other areas of my life. You know what I'm saying, where I'm scared to bring attention to myself because I equate that to, you know what I'm saying, I equate that to harassment and embarrassment, and I equate it to all these bad things to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I expect people to become passive aggressively adversarial towards me because I exist, or because, you know what I'm saying, I'm because, you know what I'm saying, I'm expressing my true talents, you know what I'm saying, because I'm showing that I'm good at something and I deserve that. And I say this to all of you people who have narcissistic parents: you deserve to feel good about what it is that you can do without any effort. You deserve to feel good about your accomplishments. You should feel good about existing. You deserve to feel good about taking up space wherever it is that you know what I'm saying? Because we have been trained for so long to make ourselves small to avoid conflict. And as I get time by myself and stuff like that, and as I, you know what I'm saying, go further into sobriety as well, it's just like I'm no longer ashamed about that internally, as I'm still working on it externally, you know what I'm saying? Because also, you know what I'm saying, it's just, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? But I realize that now, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, I'm working towards it. I'm working, I'm working towards it, you know. And also, you know what I'm saying, and it also plays into me, you know, being the only black woman in my job, at my job. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it sort of kind of triggers me in a way, because it's like, it kind of makes you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to. Because it's like they try to do little things to make sure that they don't see you. Make sure that nobody sees you, or nobody sees you in a good way, in a good light, or things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, to feel like tolerated, I know what that feels like. And I'm training myself to stand in my truth, to stand in my greatness, irregardless of who's around, to be confident, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just had this, pattern. I just recognized this pattern in what was going on in terms of like what is around me, and you know, that's that's just what it is. And I hope that others. I hope you get that chance to where you are not afraid, or you break out of this programming to where you feel like you have to shrink yourself, make yourself small to avoid conflict, because you are not the problem. And they want to think that you are the problem, but you are not. This world is so insecure, and especially people that deal with narcissistic parents that had that type of upbringing, you know what I'm saying, they're going to target you the most. It's going to trigger you the most because, you know what I'm saying, we know how it feels to be ignored. We know how it feels to make ourselves small and things like that. And it's like, no, it's your time. It is your chance. You know what I'm saying? Don't let people make you feel like you have to keep putting yourself second. You have to stop doing what you're doing that makes you feel good. To stop doing things that you love. To, you know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff. It's your time. It's your time. It's about time. You know. Do whatever you need to do to block out block out their words, their judgments, their their accusations and stuff like that. You gotta tune all that out. I know it's hard, but it becomes easier. Stop listening. You know what I'm saying? I learned, you know what I'm saying, I took a look at my mother, the way that she would, you know what I'm saying, I recognized also that she didn't care. It didn't matter what job I had, she didn't like it, and she would always want me to work at her job as a nurse. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not for me. It's not something that I wanted to do. And she has tried to convince me that my job, the jobs that I have, is hard or stuff like that. It's difficult and things like that. But when, and sometimes you would think that, you know what I'm saying, I thought that, you know what I'm saying, I would think that, like, hey, maybe she's right. Maybe she just wanted things to be best for me. But I learned that every time I followed her advice or things like that, it made my life harder than what it was. Right? And I'm sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to collect my thoughts. It made my life harder than what it was. And I figured out that, you know what I'm saying, like, it also brought negativity onto my pursuits and things. It made me question myself that, maybe what it was that I was doing wasn't right for me, or you're saying, or or I'm not working hard enough and things like that. And it's like, no, everything that I'm doing is fine. It's okay. I'm gonna be okay. You're going to be okay. Okay? And she would list out everything that goes on with my job. Oh, what if in the winter, it gets cold and the bus and stuff like that? And I'm like, so what? I'm going to be okay. I prepared for that. I'm prepared for that. That's not hard for me. Even if it's an hour and 30 minutes away, I love my job. I love my job. I love my job, and I like my job because, one, it pays me and I got a raise. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be alright. And even though that I'm not contributing as much, I'm not going to feel bad about that. As they try to make me feel bad about that. Because at least I do. At least I do. And one tip that I, do to ground me back into reality and to make myself actually trust myself is when they tell you that, when they try to, speak negativity onto your life or try to tell you what you should be doing. Because, narcissistic parents have this, this habit of trying to tell you what it is that you should be doing because it's not something, because you're not doing something what they want. And even if you did something that they wanted you to do, they're still gonna have a problem. They're still gonna complain about something. So one thing that I did was I looked at my mother and I reflected on her experiences in life and stuff like that, and where she is now, and it's still been the same. She's still going through the same, in spite of what she said or what she was going to do and things like that. Why would I take advice from people that don't believe in themselves, that don't do what they said that they're going to do, that don't love themselves enough to, they don't love themselves to get rid of the things that are holding them back. And those are what my, those are what my parents did. They were always, become so involved, suddenly involved of what I'm doing, even though I've shown them that there's no reason for them to worry, And my dad would low-key kind of, infantilize me. It's like, oh, well, I always knew that you were smart. And like, what's that supposed to mean? What's that supposed to mean? Like, it's just like these backhanded compliments and stuff like that, and it's just like they want, especially the enabler person, the enabler parent, they will make it seem like they're like the peacemaker and they're so righteous and stuff like that, but they're telling you to do things that they wouldn't do, in regards to dealing with the narcissistic parent or stuff like that, And it's like, why would I listen to you about what I should do with my life if you don't love yourself? If you are not doing the things that you are preaching to me, I don't need to be listening to to anybody that don't, take a look at them. Take a good look at them before you really start, before you really start considering their advice, because they're your parents and they're looking out for you. And they'll wake you up, because it did. It did for me, and it gave me all the answers that I needed to move forward and to be emotionally balanced. And it's made it easier for me, you know what I'm saying, for their words and their negativity to bounce off of me. Because I know at the end of the day, that no matter what they say, I'm on the right path, right? I'm doing what's best for me, and that's all. And that's all I need to do. I know I'm going somewhere. You know that you're going somewhere, and that's all you need to know. And that goes for anybody. Take a good look at these people that are telling you how you should live your life, what you should be. Because those be the same people that don't follow their own advice. Or when they tell you what standards that you should adhere to, you know what I'm saying, that you should follow, when they can't even, you know what I'm saying, appeal to their standards themselves. Think about that, man. Think about that. And that's what, you know what I'm saying, that's what makes me progress in becoming an individual, man. It's been waking me up ever since, and that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know to have to, you know, to have you move forward, to give you hope, because I know it's giving me hope. I hope that does that for you, man. Peace.